Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Hope that week is rolling right along for you, and we are so excited that you took the time to grab our show, and let's make this week even better by answering your listener questions and taking a quick little mental vacation to your favorite place, Walt Disney World. Today, we lead off with a great question from Chris, who asks us about his vacation next week down at Walt Disney World. He's staying at Disney's Contemporary Resort. His wife and daughter are both celebrating birthdays. Happy 13th birthday to his daughter. He's looking for ways to make their birthdays a little bit more special, so we talk about that. He's also asking about some of the current great snacks down at Walt Disney World. Ricky just wrote a couple articles on this and gives us some really great savory and sweet snacks to get this fall at Walt Disney World. And he asked about getting to mini golf for his son from the Contemporary and the Best Course. We talk about that as well. We also get a question about New Year's Eve for a first-timer over at Epcot. What to avoid, what to make sure you do. Man, I love Epcot at New Year's Eve, so we have a great discussion there. And our friend Len asks about boarding the Skyliner from the Riviera at Rope Drop. Things to think about, because again, we had this discussion on Sunday night about the availability of the gondolas coming through there from the Contemporary or from the Caribbean Beach there. Sometimes they are always full. We have a great discussion there. This and much more coming your way on today's show. Don't forget, today's podcast brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details right now over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all this possible. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And you get our bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this weekend. We'd love to have you at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2557 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope your week is going well. We are all back together, just like we've been here for 16 and a half years or so. And of course, midweek means it is time to tackle those listener questions. Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, and sometimes just life in general. Not usually, but every once in a while it has happened. We tackle those questions, so we are here to have some fun and to get you over the hump towards that next weekend, which we are eyeing with anticipation. So to do that, we have the crew assembled. Ricky is joining us from DisneyWorldAfterAll.com and the Mouse for Less. Ricky, what's going on this fine Wednesday?
You know, it's nice to actually be able to be here for a Wednesday, finally. It's been a while. Brian's been working like a crazy man. It's September, so it's budget season. So we have budgets are done, I think. Not for the house, but for his work. Budgets are done, and I think we get to breathe for a few minutes. So yeah, that part's nice. So yay!
Can we call him Brother Brian now? Because I know he's working to become a pastor, right? So
he is working to be a pastor, and actually he is finally, as of now, finished school. So there's 4 years that we've been dealing with this. So he's actually, if it had been this time last year, or actually if he was still in school, he would be going to Indiana this week. So you wouldn't have seen me this week if if he was still in the program. But he is officially done with that too, and he's not ordained yet, but he will be here soon. And that process is long as the church was a little bit slow on getting that done. But yeah, so that part's good. It's been a challenging 6 to 9 months for him. So the budget being done was the last thing that he had to get through, and he finally got through that. So I think we have a minute to breathe. It's been the first time we have a minute to breathe probably in about 4 years. So that part's nice.
So can he real quick? Can he marry people? I mean, is that
I'm
one of the things
sure
he can do?
Actually. I don't know. I mean, he hasn't done it. He's performed a few funerals. I know that.
We don't want to do that yet. I mean, let's be positive here.
Going on. I thought we were going for a theme here. But he hasn't married anybody. That would be, man.
That's the fun
weird.
stuff.
I was just saying, it'd be way more exciting.
Yeah. Can he marry me and him together? I don't think so, but we're already married, so I guess we're good.
Yeah, we need a wedding. We need to get some business here. You know?
Yeah, I guess. No, not really. So anyway, yeah, it's been a challenging. Obviously, we've had a lot going on these last 4 years. So the fact that we can maybe breathe is kind of nice. So
hallelujah.
Right. Hallelujah, exactly.
Yes. Go Brian. Go brother Brian. We're there. Yes.
That's it.
All right, Pam Forster from she's a coder of the Magic for Less Travel out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Home of the Pitt Panthers, 3-0. Just won the backyard brawl this past weekend. I don't know if you were paying attention, but heck of a football team out that way. What's going on, Pam?
That is my alma mater. So we do know the backyard brawl with West Virginia has always, I mean, since I was in college, has been a big deal. We're so close together. And so I will just say, whenever one had to travel to the other location to play, it was a tense weekend. Some tense things happening. So anyways, but yes. So all good. Yes. And I was worried. I was thinking about this as you were introing the show. I was worried about people taking our advice on other matters, on like life matters. I was like, we are not qualified for that. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have given good advice over the 16 years, 3-4 times. So it's about once every 4 years that we give solid life advice.
Yeah.
That's not very good percentage. I don't know.
We try. Yeah, and shout out to our good buddy Rich, who is a huge Mountaineers fan in our audience. He's one of our lizards, and I see his runs all the time. God bless him for running. He's a teacher as well, so God bless him for that. He runs in the hills of West Virginia. God bless him for that. He's a consistent runner, and I know his Mountaineers are 1-2, and he's a devout fan of that team. So I get it. It's a rough thing, but yeah, good job for the Panthers. I like it.
I agree, but I will tell you, I have no skin in this game. I mean, it's just not, we don't follow Pitt football or anything else. So, Rich, I could root for the Mountaineers just as much.
Yeah, there you go. Mr. Z out there keeping it real in the high schools. Can't believe it. All right, let's get to our first question of the day. And we need questions. So if you're tuned in live, we have a big audience tuned in live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. People are tuned in all around the world here on a Monday afternoon. Thanks for being there. We appreciate you. But if you have a question or comment, want to be a part of the show, drop it in the comments right now, and you're a part of our podcast this week. But let's go to the inbox. And Chris Young, who is actually in Springs Grove, Pennsylvania, speaking of the Keystone State, says, hello, BOGP crew. Thanks so much for answering my questions from a few weeks ago about our stay at the Contemporary and early entry timing. The kids listened to that episode and were like, we're famous. I mean,
love it.
We do what we can. Even though I never mentioned them by name. But one of our neighbors did tell us he heard us on the podcast. Listen to that. Neighbors that listen to the podcast together. I mean, that's a community right there. That's what I say. Yes.
Really cool.
The guy in front of me at the football game the other day is like, you have a podcast? I'm like, yes. Yes, I do. It was awesome.
I have a coworker I was talking to, and I said something about it, and she said, wait, you're the part of the Be Our Guest podcast? And I said, yeah. And she's like, my friend listens to you. She said,
dude, it's shocking. It's shocking anybody listens to our show, but it is. I mean, when you're like at the zoo with 65,000 maniacs, and they're like, do you have a podcast? Yes. And it's 3rd and 10. Get on your feet and get loud. Let's go. Okay. Anyway, as I write this, we are 14 days from our trip to the world. We are ready to go. 8 nights Contemporary, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and free dining package. So several character meals. Food always tastes better when it's free. We always say that. And 1 day at Universal for Harry Potter. Plus, I definitely have my own snack food agenda. Any snack tips would be greatly appreciated. My primary question, what is the easiest way to get to mini golf from the Contemporary? Our son, Mason, is a big putt-putt fan. And I love the way he used the term putt-putt. That is the proper way to address mini golf in the Midwest. We have a package, and mini golf tickets are included. So we would like to use them if it works out for us. And which course is the most fun? Also, my wife, Alyssa, celebrates her actual birthday while we're there. And our daughter, Molly, also does as well, turning 13 while we're there. God bless you. You got a teenage daughter. Oh, Chris. We know about the celebration buttons, and while I did the planning, I asked them what they wanted to do for their days to make it special. But are there any other fun little extras we can do to make it even more memorable and special? Again, thanks for your commitment to helping everyone have the best Disney trips we can. Chris in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. All right, a lot to unwrap with this one. First of all, let's talk snacks real quick for Chris. And we're in this awesome time because seasonally, there's great snacks. Ricky, have you written anything lately as far as seasonal snacks that Chris can get his hands on?
I may have written a few articles on a Disney World after all. There are just a couple of, snack guides up. So, just search for the word snacks on my website and it'll pull up whatever it is. There's right now Hispanic and Latin Heritage Month snacks. There's Halloween snacks going on. I mean, there's just a ton of great options for you right now. So
without even going to the good, that's great reference, but just give him something right now for the podcast audience. What's he need to sink his teeth into? And like, if I was there right now, what do I need to go get? Savory or sweet? I don't care. I'm starving right now. I just had an Uncrustable to tide me over. But.
You had an Uncrustable? Okay.
Oh, dude, Uncrustables. So Jason in our the Discord, he likes the. I didn't even know they made these. They make honey Uncrustables. I didn't even know they were a thing. Yeah, they're like honey and peanut butter.
Oh
yeah. If you go to the clubhouse, he posted pictures of them. I do the traditional PB&Js.
Okay. They have a Nutella one too. I know that.
Right here, dude. Right out of the trash bag.
Nicely done. Okay. I do have a good snack option though. I'm gonna just bypass all of the Uncrustables conversations. Although you can get Uncrustables at Walt Disney World if you really need one.
Like 6 months ago, they were giving away like candy at Epcot. Remember? That was like a thing.
Yeah, they were actually. Yeah, that was interesting. But my favorite snack right now, and the thing that I probably will be getting here soon, is at Gaston's Tavern, and it is not the fantastically delicious cinnamon roll that Gaston's Tavern is known for. It is actually, it is the creme brulee like pastry tart thing that they have that's going on right there. Oh my goodness, it is so good. It's so like heavy. It's like it's filled with just delicious vanilla cream, and it is so good. It's got a caramelized top, it's full of sugar on top. It's so good. And I actually wrote a review about it on my site, so you can go look at that. And I actually tried it live, so you can see my actual like tasting of it for the first time. And then Brian got there's a ham and Gruyere, it's like not a flatbread, but it sort of looks like a flatbread. And he got that, and that was really good too. So Gaston's Tavern right now has some amazing options if you want savory or you want sweet. So I'm going Gaston's Tavern at the moment. That's
underrated too. I mean, because I think people think of that as breakfast, and then just like it's an afterthought.
They think of it just as cinnamon roll. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, because the cinnamon roll Coke Zero breakfast is
get the creme brulee tart thing for breakfast instead, and I promise I'm not steering you wrong. I mean, it's a good snack too. Don't get me wrong. I would eat it any time of the day. So it was really good. But I got it for breakfast.
The cinnamon roll Coke Zero breakfast is like the Florida State cinnamon rolls and cinnamon. Did I say cinnamon rolls? The Florida, the cinnamon. Let me try that again.
You can't even say it. Yeah.
Where's it on?
Where's the record scratch?
Try that again.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
The Gaston's Tavern cinnamon roll Coke Zero breakfast is the Florida State cinnamon. I can't even say it again. Seminoles of 2023.
Okay.
Undefeated.
Oh, undefeated.
13-0. But now you're talking, dude. The crowds are gone like at lunchtime. You go in there and get these other things. Bam.
I mean that like flatbread type thing. That's a great like lunch option. I'm not gonna lie.
Cheese?
And it comes with a side of chips too. So
all that in a side of chips? In a bag
all
of
that
chips?
in a bag of it's literally a bag of chips. All that in a bag of chips, yes.
Just like Big Man on campus. All right, so real quick, the easiest way to get from the contemporary over to mini golf, and so I would say to me Uber. I mean,
or minivan.
I mean, there's really no easy way to get there with Disney transportation. That is kind of
well, to the Blizzard Beach one there is, because you can take the Blizzard Beach bus.
Yeah, which is usually the Animal Kingdom / Blizzard Beach bus. What is wrong with my mouth today?
Oh my goodness.
I cannot podcast, and we got to do another one after this. I'm in trouble. Yeah, you can take the bus. If so, and you know what? I think that is the superior course too. Winter Summerland is better than what's the other one? Why am I want to say Fairways and Greens? That's an old golf show that was on a radio show. It's the one over. Oh my
Fantasia
God,
Gardens.
Fantasia Gardens. It's
Fantasia
got the big dancing
yes.
hippo thing. God, what's wrong? I'm losing myself.
There are a lot of things wrong with you, but let's not go down that.
I'm starving
path right now.
Could somebody bring me another Uncrustable stat? I need protein. Oh Lord, how are we gonna make it through? Okay, so that's it. What else do we have? So that's putt. What else for like the 13-year-old and his wife? He needs to keep the ladies happy in his life because happy ladies for a dad that keeps the world going around. Pam Forrester, help us out here.
I mean, I guess it really depends on what they like, but you can always if they're shoppers, I think Disney Springs has become a huge shopping place. It's not just Disney stuff, and people either like that or don't like it. But I think I love Disney Springs since they redid it. I like the different shops. I don't want it to just be Disney shops. I mean, there's some fantastic Disney shops there. Don't get me wrong. You have Disney jewelry. You have the main huge Disney store. You have Disney home goods. You have all kinds of Disney fashion and whatnot. But then there's also other shops that you may find, some that might be you might have in your area, and some you may not. And there's a lot of those shops like the Vera Bradley shop or other things like that have sort of a Disney themed merchandise that you may not be able to get as easily through other shops, Pandora, of course, and whatnot. So I think shopping's always a good deal. But if they want pool time, schedule that. I think what you have to do is just enlist your family members to help plan with you and figure out like what's important to them, and then that may do it. The other thing you may want to consider is always the tours. I've never taken a tour at Walt Disney World and been disappointed with that. Whether they're Animal Kingdom lovers or they want to do something that's more in the parks, like in the Magic Kingdom, or even at many of the resorts, there's some kind of resort tours you can take. I know specifically at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, there's a tour, and at the boardwalk, there typically is too. You just have to sort of check at the desk to see what times those are open.
Yep, and Shaggy says Keys to the Kingdom tour is great. I love that tour. I think you got to be 16 to do that one, though, is the minimum age. And she's going to be 13, so that would be out for the entire family. But that's something to look forward to. Yeah, and like you said, at Disney Springs, I'll just say, being a dad of two daughters, 13-year-old girl, Lululemon has a store at Disney Springs, big hit with that age group. Uggs has a store there. That's another big. I mean, you got to loosen the pocketbook when you got the teenagers. So just be ready. I'm just saying, but go over there and just let them pick. Deluxe burger, chicken guy, Polite Pig.
Well, so many great dining
you could have
options.
great, get a birthday cake at Amorette's, something like that.
Oh, they have some really good cakes.
I mean,
there.
there's a lot of good ways to
such
celebrate
good
over
stuff.
there. And they have, reasonable things at Amorette's. I used to think Amorette's was like just a total rich kind of person thing, but I think there's reasonable things there.
No,
too.
there's
Lots,
absolutely.
so many. You can get like little individual desserts, and they're like works of art,
They
really
are.
and truly. They really are. They're beautiful, right?
Well, and we had a guest come on too on our Monday show a couple weeks ago, and they did a class there where they made their own
Yes.
cake.
Yeah, she does.
That seemed really
Yeah.
cool.
Which is really cool.
I mean, it's kind
The
of expensive, but
ganachery too has great stuff.
That just sounds
Yeah.
fancy. The ganachery. Well, plus they're
It's
like
so
featured in
good.
the in-room TV special, right? So
They
that makes it
are,
cool.
but that chocolate is really good chocolate. So if you like good chocolate, you can go there and really get it. It's really tasty.
God, I'd like to ganache on some chocolate right now. I'm hungry.
Nope.
No.
Nope. No. No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a dad joke.
I did.
Yes.
I did. I'd like to ganache anyway. All right, Len's got a question out in Maryland. Staying at the Riv in April. I was curious. Is it an issue getting on the Skyliner from the Riv near park opening due to the gondolas? I haven't got to say that in a long time. Already being taken by guests that boarded at either Epcot or the transfer station. Would it be smarter to walk to the transfer station instead? I have some insider information on this particular question. If you tune in tomorrow to the replay of Sunday night's live call-in show, we have a guest who called in whose sister works the Skyliner. She's a supervisor
Oh, so fun.
on the Skyliner. And she calls in and tells us the actual strategies they use for how they send the buckets from the transfer station to the Riviera. Because Scott was talking about how one of his beefs is when he stays at the Riviera, sometimes it's hard to catch a bucket there because they're always full, especially at like park opening, right? This exact situation. And there's like a level, when they have the storm warnings, the rip current levels like green, yellow, red. They have names for it. I forget what she called it, but she told us, and it'll be on the show tomorrow if you download the replay from Sunday.
Interesting.
So she explained the whole system. But there is a system, and basically she said most days it is probably easier to walk to Caribbean Beach.
Interesting.
Was her thoughts from her sister. So that is, which is, and again, Scott and I had this discussion. Riviera Deluxe Resort, right? Beach Yacht, all the deluxe resorts. Again, it gets back to that and bus service. I think bus service is superior at Pop Century to the Grand Floridian.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong there?
I don't know. I think it really depends. And I think one of the times, really one of the only times I noticed any problem with the Skyliner is opening and closing. That's really it.
True.
The rest of the time. And I think that because we are people who tend to be there at opening and or closing, that we might be impacted or notice it more than others do. So that may sort of contribute to the issue. But yeah, the walk from the Riv over to the transfer station is not that bad. And it's actually kind of a nice walk in the morning, especially with that. But yes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is not a bad walk at all. It's not a bad walk. But again, it's one of those things like we were having that discussion where you are staying at the deluxe resort and at park opening, it is probably going to be quicker for you to go to the Caribbean Beach station. But then you are in competition with everybody staying at the largest moderate resort on property, and you're staying at the deluxe resort.
and you're
period.
And you're competing with the people at
Art and
too.
Pop too, and art.
Yeah.
So it is, it is kind of counterproductive because you are a deluxe guest, but I mean, so again, do you spend the time to walk all the way to Caribbean Beach or just save the time on your feet, wait in line? It's one of those things, right? Like it's like it's a mentality thing, right? Do you, like, sometimes Google in a traffic jam will route you around the traffic, and like you're moving the whole time, but you're driving 5 extra miles to get around the jam.
Right.
But I'll do that because at least I'm driving, right? But it's like I'm driving 5 extra miles to go around, but I feel like, oh yeah, I'm doing something because I'm not sitting still. Where if I would have sat still on the highway, it was probably the exact same amount of time, right? But at least I'm not like, I'm not moving. But that's probably the exact same amount of time, but I'm not like screaming at clouds. At least I feel like I'm making progress. I don't know. I think it sometimes is a mentality thing. Like at least I'm. True. But then if you get over to the Caribbean Beach transfer station, you see like the whole world over there. You're like, I don't know. It's funny.
You got to know yourself. Len knows himself, so he'll be able to get that figured out. But yes.
And Shaggy says, who's one of our good friends, he actually called in also last on the show. You'll hear Shaggy featured. Shaggy has a story. You got to listen to. We had a great show Sunday night. I'm not to toot my own horn. Toot, toot. We had a good show Sunday night. And my grandma used to say that all the time. I love my grandma. I miss her so much. She'd be like, Mike, don't toot your own horn. That was her. She was a good Baptist woman, man. She is always like, be humble. Don't toot your own horn. Whenever you go 4 for 4 in a T-ball game, I'd be like all happy. Don't toot your own horn now, Mike Chuck. She called me Mike Chuck because my middle name's Charles. Anyway, he says, I'm not a rope dropper, but I've experienced a Skyliner many times leaving it closing. You're going to wait a bit, but I find it better than the buses. Okay, good. But anyway, Shaggy has a story because we talked about one time we told the story about how I scared the girls at Pecos Bills and they spilled this sodas all over the place and it was a whole thing. But Shaggy tells a story about how Max... Max, the character. I think he's Goofy's.
Yeah, Goofy's son.
Goofy's son.
Cousin? Son?
Son.
Okay,
Son.
or son.
Son.
I don't watch the movies. But he posted up on him at Disneyland when he was getting ready to take a picture. Like it was going to scare him. So there's a teaser. So listen to that story tomorrow. Download the show. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
funny.
So be careful, dude. The characters at Disneyland will post up on you. And he had a big, expensive camera in his hand.
Dang.
And he was right on the rivers of America. Did it turn out bad? Tune in tomorrow to find out. Did he lose his $1,000 glass? We'll find out. Okay. Let's see here. We got a question from Becky in the inbox. We're still looking for questions for our live listeners. They're just kind of hanging out with us today. And come on, don't be bumps on logs. We need questions. Thanks, Len, for that question.
Wow, you're not allowed to just listen.
Hey,
Nope.
I'm going back to my 6th grade teaching thing, dude. If they just sat there and nobody raised their hand, I called them bumps on logs. That's what I did.
If we have to be here, you have to be here.
That was my line. You're taking me right back to 2003 in my classroom at Wedgwood Elementary. That's right, man. This is our time. It was like ordering the pizza thing from what was that movie? Fast Times.
Fast Times. Yes.
This is our time. Exactly.
It's our time.
I didn't quote that to my 6th graders. God bless them. But yeah, exactly. Where's the show going?
We should put a disclaimer
We
on
should.
the show.
This show's got the Florida State Seminoles, who are a verified train wreck this year. We got Uncrustables and we got Fast Times being quoted.
We do.
Holy cow! We're only 25 minutes in. Becky says, hello. This is Becky from Mooresville, Indiana, and I'm a longtime listener to your show. I appreciate your positivity, fun topics, and helpful.
Maybe she's not anymore. I'm just saying. Yeah. We may have killed
You'll
this.
stick along.
I have not had
with
enough
us.
protein today. My family of 4, my husband and I, along with our 2 teenage boys, are headed to the world this October, and I had a question about the new multi-pass system. I was super confident with the Lightning Lane system, but we have not been back since the change occurred. My question is, do I have to make my multi-passes for the first park I visit each day? Or could I make reservations for the park I plan to hop to? For example, we plan to rope drop Animal Kingdom, and we're hitting Festival or Flight of Passage, then Safari and Everest, and then hop to Hollywood Studios. I don't think we need lightning lanes for those lines, but I know we would want them for Slinky Dog, Tower of Terror, and other Hollywood Studios attractions. Is this a possibility, or do I have to make the lightning lanes for my first park of the day? I understand that I can make a 4th reservation once we check in for the first one, but I'm afraid that we won't have many choices left. I was the queen of the rolling lightning lane and normally made one for the first park of the day and then stacked them later in the afternoon. Since we don't have to make park reservations any longer, I didn't know if this was possible with the new system. I appreciate your help and thank you again for bringing the magic to us so many times each week. Becky, who wants to take it? Ricky, Pam?
Yeah, you don't have to. So you can do a couple different things. First of all, you could make all 3 of the ones you can make in advance at whatever park you choose to be in at whatever time is available at that point in time. So let's say you knew you were going to be at Hollywood Studios around 5 o'clock and you wanted to put all 3 of your reservations there for that time, you could do it. The other thing you could do is definitely make a reservation, and then after you tap in for that, go ahead and you can make another reservation at whatever park you plan on being in there that afternoon. And you could even cancel, even if you made 3 reservations at your first park, you could cancel the other 2 and or modify the other 2 and move those out to the other park you will be in the afternoon. The challenge with that is one of the things that we've been noticing is when you go ahead and wait to tap into your first one, you will probably not be able to tap into your first ride for a while. And by the time you get to that point in time, there might not be the availability that you want at the last park that you'll be at that day. So it's something to keep in mind, something to consider when you're doing those. It's safest to just, Hollywood Studios is one of the parks I think that is one of the better uses of the multi-pass, because you can do Slinky Dog, you can do
Tower,
you could do
Rock and Roller
Coaster. Thank you. All of these attractions,
Smugglers.
even Mickey and Minnie. So something like that, something to think about. And I think if you plan on visiting that during, toward the end of the day, I would make all 3 of those in that park. That would be my advice.
Yeah, the thing you're thinking about in this situation, as I was kind of mulling this over, is that with the delay in using that first, because you're delaying it till you hop, right? To use your first lightning lane, is that whole time it's like while you're at Animal Kingdom in the morning doing Flight of Passage and the Safari and Everest and all that stuff, it's just like all that inventory is being eaten up for later for your selections. Because you said like, you want to, once you make that first one, then you can make your 4th one, right? But that whole morning that you're not using that first lightning lane, that inventory is being chewed up for the day. So that does kind of limit you later on. But if you're cool with that, you're fine.
It does. And what we found is it's challenging to get a lightning lane, before a certain time. They aren't typically there like when the park first opens. It just isn't what it is. So it's like there's sort of a delay regardless. And that's sort of how you have to make your choices. But I think too, if you were skilled, and especially there first thing in the morning, there's so much you can do without a big wait, without the lightning lane. So
absolutely, you don't need them right in the park opens. I mean, just hit it, rope drop, and you can get 3, 4, 5 good attractions in immediately. I mean, that's what they're doing at Animal Kingdom. I agree with her. I mean, I think that's a good strategy. You do sacrifice on the back end. I'm not saying this is a bad strategy at all.
Me neither. Yeah.
The thing is, at Hollywood Studios, I think it is kind of more of a park where it is a challenge to get things later in the day. I think it's going to be, a lot of that stuff is going to be gobbled up. The thing with Hollywood Studios, you don't have a lot of minor attractions. Like Magic Kingdom is a better park to do that because you have more minor, you're going to have availability on minor attractions. You're going to have availability on things like Barnstormer and things like possibility like a Jungle Cruise or Magic Carpets of Aladdin. You have more kind of 3rd tier attractions that are going to show availability. Hollywood Studios, it's almost like one of those, it's like an all or nothing park for the most part. They just don't have a lot of that mid or bottom tier stuff. It's all big stuff.
No, and Slinky Dog's one of the first ones to go without availability at all with all 4 parks. So it's one of the ones that goes the fastest.
All right. Shout out to my good friends, Celinda and Craig, who are tuned in and watching us live from the Disney Wonder right now in Vancouver, Canada, getting ready to sail to Alaska. They're Craig's a great lizard, one of my running buddies, and inspires me on his running journey. He's always been there. He's run with us forever. And Celinda, celebrating getting over some health issues and getting to sail the Wonder. I'm glad that they get to do that. One of our great folks, guests over at the Magic for Less Travel, just glad that they got to sail on the Disney Wonder. They're going to have a wonderful cruise. Just wanted to say bon voyage here on a Monday.
That'll be fun.
Be a great time. All right, so let's get to the next question. You know what? It's almost Halloween, so that means it's time to talk New Year's Eve at Epcot. Here we go. It's from Cheryl. It says, hey, Mike, I'm headed to Walt Disney World for New Year's Eve with friends, with a little horn emoji. This is a bucket list item that we're checking off our list as we've heard you guys talk about New Year's Eve at Epcot on the podcast and really want to experience this. My question is, I have an Epcot theme park reservation with my annual pass, but my friends have 4-day park hopper tickets, date-based tickets. Since they can't make a theme park reservation with their date-based tickets, will their tickets still guarantee entry to Epcot on New Year's Eve, even with capacity limitations? Do you have any other tips for New Year's Eve at Epcot? We're staying at Old Key West, and we're considering renting a car to hopefully get to the resort sooner than Walt Disney World transportation after park close on New Year's Eve. Love the podcast. Thanks so much for all you guys do at The Magic for Less. Cheryl, well, thank you. That's very kind of you. First of all, don't drive on New Year's
that
Eve.
was exactly.
Do not drive.
Don't drive.
Dude,
absolutely
you'll be able to see your villa from Epcot at Old Key West, and you will still not get back until sunrise. I'm just telling you,
Mike
not drive.
Wrong.
Take
don't
Disney
drive.
transportation.
Take Disney transportation,
For
100%.
real. Dude.
Getting out of Epcot, I have driven on New Year's Eve. Getting out of Epcot is torture because I was staying off property at my brother's apartment at the time, and so it was awful. Do not drive. Absolutely take Disney transportation. It will be so much easier.
Cheryl, I'm taking your keys. If you try, I'm gonna find you and take your keys to the rental car. Do not drive. Take a bus. Right. I know that the bus lines will be long. It will be way better than trying to get out of that parking lot on New Year's Eve. Okay, so Pam, we've done New Year's Eve so many times. It is never. Epcot holds the world. I mean, not just World Showcase. It's never closed to capacity for us on New Year's Eve.
No, not where it doesn't open up again right after. Right. So here's the thing. The date-based tickets are not going to guarantee you access into Epcot. How it typically works is that, and this is how it used to work before you were able to make park reservations. They have different tiers at where they stop letting guests in depending on where they're at. And it stops first with stopping the parking lot, stopping people from entering the parking lot, and then it goes down from that point forward. So there's no guarantee, but we always say one of the things that you can do is get there at a certain time and you'll be good. And that certain time is actually in the evening. You'll be fine. Even at the Magic Kingdom, which is the first park to close to capacity, that usually is for a short period of time in the afternoon, and then it reopens again in the evening. Mm-hmm. It's sort of that late morning, early afternoon time that really seems the most impacted. So I'm guessing that you should be fine. Epcot rarely closes because of capacity issues. It just doesn't. It is the park that has the biggest wide open spaces. You will be amazed at how many of your close personal friends you're in that park with that night. But it is so fun and it's so worth it. And for the most part, everyone is so friendly and excited to be there and just as well behaved as a mass crowd could be.
It's Disney it's chaos, but it's Disney chaos.
It is, right?
It's wild.
Yes.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And my biggest advice, make an ADR for say between 4 and 6 somewhere, because you want to be off your feet and you want to get a good meal in your stomach. And you just want to get some air conditioning or just get out of the elements. Could be cold, could be hot. You never know. But have an ADR and you want to have access to a bathroom without having to wait 30 minutes.
It's true. Make sure
an ADR on New Year's Eve is
go use the bathroom, right? Golden. Just make sure you use the bathroom at the restaurant. Make sure.
Yes. Don't leave without relief. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Put that on a shirt.
Everyone has to go. Use my grandma's rule. You might not think you have to go, but you have to go try.
You gotta go try.
This might be a top 10 listener question show by accident, I think, today.
Yeah. You try when you get there and try it before you leave.
Because you don't want to have an accident when you're waiting for the fireworks later.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. That's my tip. So any other tips for New Year's Eve? I mean, it also make sure you get your noisemakers and stuff like that. They start handing those out usually around 6 or 7. Just follow the noise and the drunks.
Find the
You'll
find it.
The biggest thing that I have is, know that you're not going to get a lot of attractions done that day. Just kind of go for the ambiance of the whole entire day. That's really what I go for, because the attraction lines will be really long. Just obscenely long. You'll see lines that are huge. So that's always my suggestion. Walk around World Showcase a lot. Pack your patience, because there are going to be a lot of people there. So just know that, there will definitely be people in a party mood. So
fun.
keep that in mind. And one of the most fun things is around Walt Showcase because they have these dance parties. And seriously, like just doing the dance parties and doing just random things around Epcot on, New Year's Eve is seriously the most fun part about the whole thing. It's just so much fun.
So, I mean, we've done it many, many times, and like you just gotta be ready to dance. Like, so typically, I mean, the last time I was there, we did a silent disco in Japan, which was a blast. You put the headphones on. It's like they do on the cruise line. The headphones on. Everybody's dancing to different songs, and it's just for the people that don't have the headphones on. Everybody looks like a bunch of idiots because like everybody's dancing, but I mean, everybody's dancing differently. And like they're just dancing it up, but there's no music that you hear. Like in the pavilion, it's so funny for everybody that's not listening to the music with the headphones. So it's fun for everybody, right? Because everybody's dancing, having a good time, and everybody that's not dancing is like, oh, these people look like a bunch of weirdos. China always has the like fire breathing dragon overhead that spits out fire right over your head while you're dancing to the DJ there. That's awesome. UK typically has like a Beatles type live band playing rock music. That's always fun to dance to. Italy is just like a techno typical band. Yeah. Man, it is so loud. Blasts your eardrums to oblivion. I mean, it's just you walk around World Showcase and I mean, you are just dancing the night away. And then the fireworks are just incredible. It is just, I love Epcot at New Year's Eve. Even if you're not a dancer, you just get swept up in it. Because I'm not like, I don't like cut the rug every day, but I save it up for like New Year's Eve.
And what? Yeah, what do you care? Like, you're not going to see these people again, right?
I mean, but every once in a while I run into a listener, but I don't care. You've listened to me. I'm dumb on this show all the time. I'm not changing your opinion to me.
Example.
Exactly. If we were afraid of being dumb, we would never do
exactly. No. I mean, I just prove it in public on New Year's Eve. All right, last question today is from Kevin down in the ATL.
I may be familiar with the ATL.
Possibly. Staying at Riverside for a quick daddy-daughter trip next Thursday to Sunday. What are all the transportation options to get from our resort to the International Gateway entrance at Epcot for rope drop and your choice for the best option? We are likely going to end the night at Hollywood Studios, so thinking parking there and taking the Skyliner. Appreciate any insight. Best Kevin. So he's at Riverside. And the best transportation options to get from Riverside to the International Gateway entrance. So I'm guessing they want to get to Remy's first. Is what I'm implying here.
So if you're parking over at Hollywood Studios, you can take the Skyliner over and you'll be at the International Gateway entrance. So that will be that will be an easy way of doing it. Not only can you take the Skyliner from the Hollywood Studios entrance over, you can also take a boat, or you could take just the walking path, which is fun. I'm not quite sure how early the boat starts running, but it's taking people to Hollywood Studios, so it will be around that time as well. But I think parking at Hollywood Studios and then taking the Skyliner over is probably your best chance.
And if the boat's not running, you could walk. I mean, because you could walk that pretty quickly. You could definitely walk it as fast as the boat, if not faster.
For sure.
I've
the boat's a nice ride, but yes, you can definitely walk faster.
Because I mean, like a rope drop times of the essence, right? And I mean, if they're going to the International Gateway, they're probably trying to beat the crowd to Remy. I'm just trying to guess.
Yes, probably.
And
you're right.
I have beat the boat from the studios to the.
Yeah, definitely. We have too.
Yeah.
we've been like, okay, the boat's pulling out.
Yes, I do that all the time. Yeah, exactly.
Let's start the timer.
I'm on a mission. I'm beating that boat. Yeah, so
exactly.
That's what I would do. Because if you're finishing at studios, you want to have your car there. Yeah, that's what I do. That's totally sure. All right. Well, that is going to do it. You have a question for the show? Drop it in the old inbox. Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get that on the show right away. You could also join us next week, Monday, at around 5:30 Eastern. We'll be live. So just join us there. We'll be answering your questions. So come on over and join us as we record the podcast. Speaking of the podcast, we are always sponsored and brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney Vacation. You want to get out there with Disney? We can help you do that for no additional cost to you. Concierge level service when you book with us. I'll tell you what. One thing our guests get a kick out of? We give you little tips and hints and email reminders so that you are set up for success on every Disney vacation. If it's a Disney cruise, we say, hey, guess what? Your Disney ship has these adult dining locations called Palo and Remy. Well, if it has a Remy, if it's the Magic or the Wonder and it doesn't have it, we don't tell you that. We tell you what you have. But we get you excited. So you might say, Mike, I'm platinum. I know that. You know what? I'm platinum. And when I book my trips myself, I get my email reminders myself. You know what it does, though? It gets me pumped up for my next cruise. And I send myself my own reminders. It just gets me excited. I'll tell you what. And sometimes I even need to be reminded of these things about, official government documents I need when it's getting close to check-in time because it's a couple weeks out. I got to get my ducks in a row. We give you those kind of tips just to make sure you're set up for success. But if you're super nerdy in a good way, and you just love your Disney vacations and you know it all in a good way, and that's a good thing because you listen to our show. We got you all set up. It just gets you pumped up. No additional cost to you. It's like a little pixie dust in your inbox. And you're supporting the show at the same time. So come on over, book that next trip with us. We want to show off. We want to earn your excitement, your trust. Come over to the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you out. Come over this week. Also, we'd love to help you. We'd love you to support us with when you shop on Amazon. Like my daughter, she broke her phone protector, so I had to buy another 7th one of those for her this week. So when you do that, when your daughter drops her phone as well, just go to beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And also, please support us on Patreon. $5 a month is all it takes, and you'll get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Also, give us a follow on the social media. I'm at beourguestmike. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. And you can find us on all the socials. And come over to the Clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/Clubhouse. That's where the conversation continues 24/7, 365. And of course, we'll have the live call-in show Sunday night. Join us, give us a call, be on the show, and just hang out with us to wrap up the weekend. Scott joins us. We have so much fun. We had over 100 folks tuned in Sunday night, and we had a hoot. I mean, we talked about posting up, scaring people. Again, like I said, Shaggy talked about how Max almost scared him out of his wits, and you'll have to find out how that all came out tomorrow on the feed. I'm not telling you. No spoilers here. All right, we'll be back again on Friday. We're going to have a good show for you. Getting ready to record it right now. But if you're not tuned in live, you got to wait 48 hours. That's just how podcasts work. So until we get back together again, for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.